Great.
Yeah. So welcome everybody to this month's Clay Conversation. Today we are very lucky to have the organizers of the Kleinmond Ceramics Festival who've taken time out from, I'm sure, what must be frenetic planning. So driving from Cape Town to Kleinmond is a journey that reminds you why the Cape is such a gift. You leave the bustle of the city, and soon the road carries you along mountains that rise against the sky and an ocean that rolls endlessly at your side. On Clarence Drive, the cliffs covered in fynbos lean close, the water glitters below, and sometimes, if you are lucky, you catch a glimpse of a whale breaking the surface as though to welcome you. As you pass through the lovely towns and villages perched between the mountain and the sea, you come by signs for potteries and ceramics. And driving into Kleinmond, there are 2 ceramic galleries in the main road, maybe more. What a magical thing to see. At just over an hour and a half from Cape Town, this trip will be well worth the drive to meet the passionate potters of the Southern Cape and to support and grow our clay community. Today, we welcome Leanne McClelland as well as other members of, or our members from the Southern Cape, Kleinmond area, to talk about the Kleinmond Ceramics Festival. So, firstly, welcome. So first tell us about the festival, what inspired you to start the festival, and how it has grown, or your plans for it to grow.
Thanks so much, Rosh. Yeah, and thanks for those beautiful photos. It does remind you of why we live out here. So the Ceramics Festival was started by Dion Brits in before COVID. He actually had the idea to have the Ceramics Festival to showcase ceramics on the Overberg side of the Western Cape and also to create some tourism opportunities in Kleinmond itself. Dion had great plans for it, and then COVID happened. And so in 2021, he resurrected the festival, and they had a smaller version in 2022, and then 2023, there was quite a big event, and that was super successful. And there were some fantastic exhibitors from all over the country that actually took part in the exhibition, the Potter's Market, and the workshops that were held. And then in 2024, Dion asked to step down and for others to take the reign. And that's when I joined. And Tonette and Chris and Corinda Haas and quite a few people that are part of ceramics here decided, okay, we'll take it over. And we started small again at the end of 2024 because it was new to us. And we had exhibitions and a potter's market at Corinne's studio in Kleinmond Harbour. And this year we decided to try and grow it a little bit bigger than it was last year. And so we invited a wider group of people to take part.
That sounds amazing, and I must thank you for all the hard work and this continuity that you're trying to keep going there. I mean, obviously we're all in it, we're all clay addicts, we all yeah, support you greatly. So tell me a bit about the highlights of this year's programs and what people will have to look forward to.
So this year we have the Potter's Market on the 4th, which is going to be great. We've got quite a number of people that have requested to be part of the Potter's Market, and the variety of things that are on offer. You know what it's like. You give people a bag of clay and nobody makes the same thing. So we're looking forward to seeing the variety of work at the Potter's Market and to engage with our clients. I think it's really nice to be able to talk to the people who are buying our work. So that's the one thing that we've got on. And then Tonette will chat to you a little bit about the exhibitions. And seeing as Chris is here with us, he can tell you a little bit about his Raku workshop.
Okay, that's brilliant. So, in fact, that was leading me to my next question, the opportunities for people to engage kind of hands-on in workshops and live demonstrations.
Yes.
So maybe Chris, if you can give us a little bit of a flavor of what you'll be doing.
You need to unmute yourself, Chris. Yes, there you
Right,
go.
yes, there we go. Yes, so we'll be having a raku workshop. Also during the festival, I'll have a wheel outside the studio where people can come and see me throwing and come and get their hands dirty and try the wheel. That's how I started pottery at the age of 12, seeing someone at a market throwing on a wheel, and that was me. I've also got a wild clay and miniature cob building workshop where we'll go and collect clay, and we're going to build a miniature wood-fired kiln out of local materials and sawdust and stuff like that. Yes, and then on the weekend, I think it's the 12th, is the raku workshop, where people can bring their own things to fire, or they will be able to get part of the workshop is pieces that I've made. But I think there are people that are going to be bringing their own things. Also, it will be during the whole period of the festival, I will be on hand to show people raku and the kilns that we're building and the wild clay. So there will be an informal interaction with people that just want to pop in and see what's happening and, tweak the interest like that. And if they want to then come and join the official workshops, they can do that as well.
And we'll also be having on the 4th. So just to say the raku is on the 11th, and the wild clay and cob kiln building is on the weekend of the 4th and 5th. So that's, and then also we have a paper clay. Rika Hapst is joining us in Kleinmond, and she's going to be doing her paper clay workshop, and that's going to be at Peppermint Pottery. So they will be using their little workshop facilities there, which will be great. And Rika is really, her workshops are wonderful, and she gives so much information. So we're looking forward to that as well.
That's wonderful that you've managed to gather such experience, lot of people to facilitate these workshops. What about the exhibitions? And I know Kleinmond is so special, in fact, that whole area, in that there's so many galleries dedicated to ceramics that actually I can't think in Cape Town itself if we have, dedicated ceramics galleries.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Rosh. So you could start, if people are taking a meander from Cape Town, you could stop just outside of Pringle, so almost opposite the entrance into Pringle Bay. There's a very large gallery called FOMO. It's a beautiful gallery with a lot of sculptures in the garden. So it's a garden full of sculptures. And they have put some space aside for us to have a dedicated space for for an exhibition. So we actually, some of us got together on Friday as a committee to go through our submissions and decide which galleries we'd send which pieces to. So you could start at FOMO Gallery just outside of Pringle Bay, then make your way through to Kleinmond, into Harbour Road, which is where Chris was talking about, which is where they will be doing some of their workshops. And there's 2 galleries in Harbour Road that will be part of the Ceramics Festival. The one is the Corinda Haas Gallery, which is a big a beautiful face brick building with an amazing gallery and courtyard and bistro. So you could have something to eat there, some coffee there. There's an exhibition in the gallery itself. And then just a couple of doors down from Corinne, there's another gallery called the Judy Mack Gallery. And she's dedicated the largest space in her gallery is broken up into 3 rooms as such. And she's given us the biggest room where we're going to put down plinths and tables. And we'll have a whole selection of more art and other art along there. So there's a really lovely meander, if you could call it that, to kind of, move your way through the different galleries. Very different things. I've seen everything that's on offer, and there's very different things.
And peppermint pottery.
Oh, yes, and Peppermint Pottery, which is where Chris is, have also given us, they've got next to their little studio, they have a beautiful retail space, and they're setting up an exhibition there as well. So there will be 4 different venues to come and look. And with our theme this year is erosion and echoes. So it's really speaks very much to who we are and what we are, which is we have the mountains and the soil around us, which literally runs straight into the ocean, and then we have the ocean. So it's inspired. We're inspired by those things, and that was the title of the exhibition itself.
What a lovely description. Is there any other items on the program or about the festival itself you wish to highlight?
Unfortunately, we've had to cancel 1 or 2 of the workshops that we were hoping to hold. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's the timing or our current financial situation in South Africa, but they weren't well booked. So we would really have loved to have done a few more things. One of the ladies, however, who was going to run a workshop for kintsugi, Audrey Loebser, has asked if she can have a table at the pottery market, and she's going to do kintsugi while she's sitting there repairing pieces, so that people who are interested in how pottery is repaired can come across and have a look. So that would have been a separate workshop, but now she's just going to sit at the potter's market. And, there's a lot to do around here. We've got the penguins in Betty's Bay. Hermanus is just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road if you want to go and sit and have a coffee and look out at whales. And the whales have been spectacular this year. There's Harold Porter Botanical Gardens as well to visit. The village of Pringle Bay is just so unique, and they've got so many lovely little quaint restaurants and so on. Coffee on Clarence, which is very well known by a lot of people who cycle or bike past this area, and they stop at Coffee on Clarence. It's a must-stop spot as well. And then there's a lot of restaurants in Kleinmond actually as well. And the Kleinmond beach is particularly beautiful. If you want to take pictures of massive waves, it's the place to be. So I know people would have actually a lot to do if they came this side. And there's beautiful accommodation all the way from Pringle Bay, Royale's Pringle Bay, Betty's Bay, and Kleinmond. There's super bed and breakfast places to stay at as well.
Great. So moving on to, and it sounds exciting, and I recently was actually visited Kleinmond, and was so taken aback to see all this interest in ceramics and clay in the area. How would you describe the ceramics culture in the Southern Cape? I mean, are you from the Southern Cape? Did you move there fairly recently? How did you find, the ceramics culture there?
I'm loving the Western Cape ceramic scene. It's better than anywhere else I've ever been. And I've been a real nomad. I've traveled all over and lived in quite a few places in the country. And the Western Cape's definitely got the most appreciation by the public for ceramics, and the most ceramics I've ever seen from a consumer point of view ever, which is great. I think it's coming to a place that's historically maybe a little older. There's an appreciation for these things that in the newer modern towns and cities, you don't find it. So I think it's been wonderful. And we have, I think, from Royals to Kleinmond, we have about 15, 18 potters just living in this small area. And I know in Cape Town, it's very similar. You have so many people doing ceramics living in, a city like Cape Town. I haven't seen that anywhere else.
Yeah, I think my entire ceramic career has been in the Western Cape. I've lived here now for 25 years, and most of my ceramics has been here. I started in Johannesburg 30 years ago, but only very from a hobby point of view. And I've I lived in Hout Bay for many years and taught ceramics there as well. And moving here, it's been exactly the same. There's a huge interest in ceramics, a huge interest in people collecting ceramics, using ceramics, learning pottery. So I think, yeah, it's an amazing place. I think the Southern Cape for our ceramic art, it's the place to be. Well, that's how it feels.
That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
And we feel very supported by Ceramics Western Cape as well. You know, you guys give us so many opportunities for our potters markets, for exhibitions, for workshops, you know, and it's really the support from the Ceramics Western Cape here is fantastic.
Thank you. I really appreciate that that feedback, and we definitely wish to support this festival to grow into the future.
Thank you.
So as you were talking just about the interest and the number of ceramicists in the area, so in how are the ceramicists passing their knowledge on to, say, to younger and emerging ceramic artists? I mean, are there studios that give classes? Are there outreach programs? Because we're finding that this concept of the master potter with their, passing on their knowledge is becoming a bit rare at the moment. And then you find like this knowledge that people have gained over many years of experimentation and self-learning doesn't get passed on. So what's that scene like over there?
I don't know for anybody else. I do teach ceramics here. So I run ceramics classes, and I did as well. I've done it for probably about 8 years now. The last 3 years here, because I relocated here from the city 3 years ago. We were very much into upskilling and working alongside particularly women who were struggling for income. And passing on skills so that they could make an income. And that was really successful and has been successful. And I think here I work with a variety of ages. So some people in their 50s, retired or semi-retired people. But then I also have a couple of young students. So I definitely feel that I am passing on those skills. What is quite interesting is I don't know when you ever feel that you're a master potter. It's ceramics and pottery for me feels like the more I know, the more I realize I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think we're actually one of the things I do love about living here. I mean, I'm a kilometer away from Leanne.
Close by.
Yeah, close by in terms of where we live. And I think around us, there's probably about 4 potters, and everybody's extremely gracious with their information. So if you're struggling with your kiln, or if you're struggling to get something to stick, or some slip that didn't work, or a glaze issue, and you put it onto the group, and there's a group of us, everybody will come back with their information about what worked for them, what didn't work for them. So I found people extremely helpful and yeah, willing to share that information.
In terms of having, like you said, the traditional master potter and his students or apprentices working for him, I long for that. But sometimes I realize maybe I'm a bit old for that. They want younger, fitter people. But I agree, Rosh. It's a problem. We don't see that very often anymore. And what we're seeing more of is what I call pay to play. So people are willing to do it, but you need to pay to go and stay, and work in their studios. And it's not quite the same as it used to be. And I don't think it ever will be in South Africa. We don't have that culture of apprenticeships in ceramics anymore, which is a pity. I mean, I think of David Slobodowski, Nico Liebenberg, Jeremy Dabber. He's from the Eastern Cape. He's an amazing person. He gives the most fantastic information. We're on a group called Clay Chat, and he is just fantastic. I'm not sure of all the names in Cape Town. Haim Rabinovich, I'm sure, would have been one of them. There's quite a couple, and you think they all learned under master potters or under internships, and then they offered those as well. But you just don't see it happening anymore, and it is a pity. But I also understand it's not that easy to have people, especially if you're not in a production style setting. And a lot of people here have small home studios. So it does make it difficult to include other people into your space. I know I was struggling with that. I was giving lessons, but I found that I wasn't being able to create what I needed to for my artistic outlet. So it is difficult sometimes to share that space. But I think that what we have, which I wanted to just mention, is Corinne Haas. She has once every month or once every 6 weeks, she invites somebody to come to her studio. And she has a wonderful space, which we call the boardroom. And they come and chat. And we had Garth Mayer, we've had Doreen Gelhemp, we've had, what was the lady from the UK? I've forgotten her name now.
Oh, Barbara.
We've had a couple of people that have come and done presentations and spoken to us about their journey with clay, and it's so inspirational. And Corinne has facilitated that, and that's her way of giving back into the ceramic community. And she employs a number of people in her production factory and is passing her knowledge on to them, which is super, and some of them have been there for a long time and they've learned such a lot from her. So yeah, I think it just depends on what sort of situation you're in.
Yeah. Thanks so much for that feedback. So I just want to say how proud I am of the energy and the passion that you show. Festivals like this just don't happen. They are built with patience, hard work, and sometimes a little improvisation when things collapse, just like in the studio.
Yes.
But these festivals also remind us of something deeper, the importance of community. Ceramics has this way of grounding us. And even every piece we make is like part art and part science, sometimes part accident. And the truth is, some of our greatest lessons come from the disasters. Um, so, but that's also what makes ceramics special. It's a journey of patience, resilience, and discovery, and it's a journey best taken together. I mean, ceramics, if you work by yourself in your studio, can be quite a lonely thing as well, and quite isolating. So, which is why it's so important to come together occasionally as a community in a festival or in a workshop. So it's brilliant that you are facilitating that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you again for making time on this Sunday and for sharing this festival with us. I do hope our members support you as well as members of the public as well. And I just want to wish you all the best and hope this festival grows. And we will do all we can to support you.
Thank you. And we want to thank all the people that have put forward their pieces to take part in the exhibition. It's not just a small thing to put your work out there into the public domain. And we really appreciate the people that have decided to support us in bringing their pieces forward and for their courage in putting their work out into the public domain, and also the galleries for hosting us.
Yeah.
It's really special that they want ceramics to be center stage as well, which is it's wonderful. We're very happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, and I hope to chat to you soon.
Thanks so much, Rosh. Thanks, Chris.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Doreen.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.